What's happening, everyone? Nicky Hawkins here, West Ham Fan TV, back once again with another video, and it's the midweek musings as usual. 3 questions, pick you 3 answers, then you have your say. It's as simple as that. I picked you 3 questions earlier today, so let's get into that. But before that, I'm going to give a big shout out to a company that have stepped up again. Final Runner, you may remember the company that bought back the musings. They've come back to sponsor this video for another time. So what is Final Runner, you ask? Final Runner is a last man standing football picks game. You pick a team. If that team wins, you go through to the next round. Simple as that. You pit against other people who have done a similar thing. Me and Gio over at Hammers Chat are getting involved as well. So for instance, if West Ham are playing Wolves this weekend, if I pick West Ham to beat Wolves, if West Ham win, I'll go through. If they don't, I'm out. Simple as that. Last man standing takes the cash. Links are in the description down below. And once again, I must say this, thank you so much for them for sponsoring these videos. These are the videos, these are the guys that you know, inspired us to bring back the musings. They come back again, and once again, as I said last time, if you click the link and get involved, they'll sponsor more of these videos, and that means more and better quality content for yourself. So thank you so much for them. As I said, link is in the description down below. Go and check it out. So the midweek musings then, I picked you 3 questions, simple ones really this week, international week, so wasn't a lot going on, so the last 2 are quite flimsy, but the first one is something that we, it just seems to rumble on and on and on, this sort of thing, so we're going to get straight into that one. So question 1, with the Twitter storm about verification raging, Thierry Henry quitting Twitter in protest, and our very own Declan Rice saying that the players are planning on doing the same in a run up to Euros to stop distractions for themselves. What needs to be done to protect subjects of vile abuse of social media? Now, I'm going to shock a few people here, and I said this a little while ago on the Friday Night Pint. You are entitled to your anonymity on social media, so you're entitled to be anonymous. So I see a lot of people saying, how do you tackle it? Well, don't let them be anonymous. We fought long and hard to have that implemented in our society. You've got the right to do or not to do, as they say, but the vile abuse and stuff is getting more and more prominent, and it prompted Thierry Henry to leave. The problem is that we've fought for years. You know, we've always complained that these celebrities, these footballers, you know, there's no line of communication between them. They don't live in the real world, and you know, they're distanced from us all, and you never get to speak to them. You never get to, you know, trying to inspire them or you know, comment good. And the more people abuse that line of communication. For instance, if you had a phone line in, no one could ever get hold of you. Then all of a sudden you put a phone line in, and you know, somebody phoned you up every day and called you something that you didn't want to be called, or you know, slung abuse at you this way. Eventually you'd cut the phone line off. So the more we abuse it, the less it's going to be available. The topic of racism has been pretty much raging since I was born and before, but it's really become prominent on social media these days, and it's obviously a tough subject to you know, to tackle, but social media companies have got the abilities and the capabilities of, I'm not going to say it's ever going to be nullified completely, but they have got an ability to take a lot of this hate and everything else off of the platform by just simply doing one thing, and that's when you sign up for an account. You know, you can't always be yourself online. For instance, we've got a West Ham Fan TV account that we tweeted off earlier. If I had to have my name in it, nobody would know it was West Ham Fan TV. So you've got to put that into consideration, and you're you know, entitled to your freedom of speech and all of that sort of thing. But what they can do is to stop, because there are so many vile trolls. I know, sorry, I'm going to rage on with this. There are so many vile trolls, and we've been subjected to it, and I know a lot of people that have been subjected to it that want to say the most vile things and hurt you mentally, just to get a rise out of their mates. And I'm sure 99% of the people that say these disgusting things, especially people like Thierry Henry and things like that, they don't necessarily mean it. They just think, you know, no one's going to catch me. I am behind an avatar. Nobody knows who I am. You know, I'm going to get away with this. And a few have been approached in the past. But social media companies have got a responsibility. Now, they can track these down because it's been done, but if you're going to do that every single day and every single minute of the day, because that's how rife it is out there, you know, your resources are going to be limited. But what they can do is not allow somebody to sign up to their platform without some sort of identification. Now, I'm not saying that they have to specifically tell anyone who they are online. You know, you've got a right to, you know, to keep that secret. But what that does mean is that if anything is untoward, if anything is said that is disgusting, vile, anything like that, these people can be tracked down, and these people will be more, what's the word? Responsible for their actions. They will, that, you know, there is a consequence. There is somebody out there that knows, okay, this account that may be marvelous Van Dijk or sensuous Souček or whatever it may be, that is actually Nicky Hawkins. We've got his, you know, record on file. So if anything disgusting comes from that, you know, questions must be answered, and quickly, you know, shut down quickly. Some of the things I see Twitter and stuff shutting things down for are really not as bad as what I see each day. But anyway, I've rattled on for too long. Let's get into your you know, to your opinions about it. Okay. So TTI WHU says, I say verification like they have with betting websites. Also, any laws need to be created like the vile people. The police and social media companies have to work together. Mark Sherman Brown says people need to be held to account. It's really simple. No account should be granted without correct verification. Then those who wish to spout abuse can have necessarily punishment dished out. No fake names, etc. If you can't stand by your own comments, don't comment. Be nice. That's become even more prominent this week with other things that have gone on, but I won't mention them just of yet. Sam Loomis says there needs to be an identity authored. It's basically the same thing, if that's the right word. For example, you need to have some form of identification, whether it be driver's license, passport, etc. So that people can't hide behind pictures of footballers. Dave says if social media platforms can remove copyrighted material at speed, they can do the same for abusive behaviour. I agree. Zach says all social media platforms need to add some sort of ID verification where you have to be at least 16, for example, to have a profile. Whenever a user breaks the terms and conditions, then they can easily trace and then further actions can take place. Then WHU says do what WhatsApp do and verify using a code sent to your phone. That way you can only have one account per phone number. WHUFN says I think there definitely needs to be a filter on terminology used on media to begin with. Those people should also be investigated by the police. Ryan Wadley says ID verification, that's the only way people can be held to account. Anthony Houghton has got a different idea, says certain words should be muted from use. I know there'll always be a way around it, and it's not fixing the problem, but it'll begin to make steps. A lot of personal abuse is to get a reaction rather than a real life feeling of hatred, in my opinion. I agree with that. And Alex P puts me in place and says, fairly obvious, commit accounts to sign up with their IDs. It will somewhat help reduce the toxicity that we find on Twitter. Also, almost all the idiots on Twitter are probably underage anyway, so ID should flush them out quite easily. Thank you so much for getting involved in such a sensitive subject. Question number 2, seemingly, this is a bit more light-hearted. The return of fans to grounds in large capacity is just a summer away, finally. What have you missed the most about going to the football, about going to the grounds? It seems like it's nearly here. Fingers crossed, because we've had such a terrible time over this last year. You know, mental health is through the floor at the minute. It's not People's mental health is not in a good place, and hopefully we can start to step back to normality. I had the vaccine today, and I hope many of you are going to do the same. And as soon as they tell me I can go back to the football in a normal sense, I don't want to go to any sort of diluted sense, I'll be back outside, and you'll be able to see me back outside the London Stadium. And honestly, the smile on my face is genuine, because I literally cannot wait to see you all. But what have I missed the most about the grounds? See, my answer is going to be a little bit different to yours, because obviously I run a match day. On a match day, I'm quite busy doing West Ham Fan TV stuff, but I just miss my friends. I miss Ryan, I miss Scott, I miss Graham, I miss Dan. I miss seeing them all every day, and you know, I think you take it for granted how much you would miss them if it was taken away. And this year, they've certainly been taken away from myself, but also my other friends, the people that I get to see every day, the people that come to speak to me on fan cams, the regulars that come over just to say hello, the people that I go out drinking with, you know, all of them people are they hold a special place in my heart. I really do. Away games, you know, I can't wait to go to the first away game, seeing these same old faces. And you know, it's just been a tough year, but it is literally the people. It's not even the football, it's the people. The football you can see on the TV, but you don't get the interaction and a camaraderie that you do by going to the grounds. And that's why, you know, I don't want to go in a diluted sense. I don't want to keep 2 meters away from everyone. I don't want to cheer on my own. I don't want to, you know, walk around the ground risking giving someone something that can potentially kill them if I go too close to them accidentally, or celebrate a goal with them. You know, I want to go back when, you know, everything is pretty much safe. So that's what I just missed, the people. Got a few answers on this one. Eddie WHU says the one thing I miss the most is the anticipation and the roar when a goal goes in. Oh, you can hear it now, can't you? VAR does its best to ruin that moment, but it's not the same without with no fans. Tom McGinty says we get a lot of stick about our atmosphere, but when we're playing well, the place rocks. Can't wait to hear the roar and cheers when we score. Denv, with a laughing face, I guess he's joking, just says the popcorn. I'll drop you some popcorn off if you want, mate. Sam Loomis says, for me, the excitement of something a player does, like Rice's run against Arsenal, something like that, something that gets the fans off their seats. Finn, WHUFN, says, I've missed the pre-match experience, yelling chants in the tunnels, the trains, walking into the stadium, meeting friends and family, the chanting in the stadium and a roar at kickoff. Can't wait to have it back. But I think Finn, he basically wants to say he's missed everything. And Ryan Wadey says, jumping around like an absolute lunatic when we score. I'm with you on that one, mate. I miss that too. Okay, so third and final one. 3, simple. It's the last furlong. We're into the last quarter of the season. Here's the table. We've got 9 games left. I've put a picture of that up here. Where do we finish? Where do we end up? Listen, I'm not going to dodge the fact, but honestly, after the last few seasons, I don't think I can be let down unless we lose every game and end up near the bottom half of the table, which I don't think we will. We've been very good this year. I've got to say, Moisey and the boys, no matter where we end up now, whether we end up in the Champions League, we can end up second, we can end up 13th, you know, but Moisey and the boys have done a sterling job this season. Many would accuse it for not being with fans. I'm not in agreement, but hey ho, that's for an argument for another day. But I've just enjoyed the fact that I haven't had to look below us, other than, you know, the likes of Chelsea and Liverpool, which is crazy. You wouldn't, you know, saying that last year. We're in the last 9 games. We're sitting 5th in the table. Of course, we was in a similar position at the last season at Bowling, and we let it slip in the last couple of games. If it weren't for the last couple of games, we would have been in the Champions League. But quite honestly, anything 8th and above, I'd be really happy with, to be honest with you. Some sort of European competition next year would be phenomenal. But you know, if the squad fitness, you know, catches up with us in these last 9 games, then so be it. But I've just enjoyed the season not looking behind us. And if we can, I'm going to say we finish where we are, 5th. I think we've got enough in our tank. I think we'll lose a couple of games before the end of the season. I think Chelsea may be too strong. They've got a good run in. for Champions League. But it's just it's every week you think it's going to come to a screeching halt, and it keeps on going. The Arsenal game was a bit of a disappointment, but we've got a chance to rectify it against Wolves, and that's what West Ham have done very well this season. Let's take your comments, because I'm battling on, and I could babble on all day. Stevie Dan says it's anywhere between 4th and 8th. Liverpool will finish strong, so I expect us to be in the mix for Europa spots with Everton and Spurs push Arsenal. Realistically looking at the running, probably 7th, which is still a great season. Tom McGinney, I personally we will finish 5th or 6th. Tottenham being 1 point behind us doesn't make me feel confident. Those 3 points at Arsenal were needed. Bob Addy WHU says, I think 7th and 8th will still be a successful season. Be great to finish higher, but I can't see us getting the results to stay up there, not with wasting the opportunity to win games in hand. Mark Money Hustle 69 says we could finish as high as 2nd or as low as 8th, in my opinion. Then WHU says 5th, finishing above Leicester, but Spurs or Liverpool going on a late run to finish in the top 4. Sam Loomis says I'd say we finish 5th or 6th and get Europa League either by coming 5th or by coming 6th, and the teams above winning certain tournaments. Ryan Wadey says, pains me to say, but I think we'll finish 6th. Would be a great finish considering we were relegation bound last season. Mark David says, I don't think we'll finish higher than 7th, to be honest. Pessimistic there, which is fine. Mick Martini says, my heart is saying we can hold on to 5th, but I put my money on 6th. Alex P says, head says 7th, heart says 4th on goal difference. Zach says, I think we'll finish 6th. Chris Fink puts his neck on the line and says West Ham glasses on, and he's put a little gif of a 4. And Andy Robbery says 6th or 7th. So that's it. That's your midweek musings. Thank you so much for joining us again. Once again, thanks to Final Runner for sponsoring the video. It's much appreciated. As I said before, you can get involved with me and Gio. Click the link in the description down below. It just costs £5 to enter. Final man standing. We've all done it with our mates, surely. But thank you again, once again, for them sponsoring the video. We'll be building up towards the Wolves game with all content. We've got a new pilot show coming this week as well on match day. Look out for that. There's exclusive Patreon stuff going on there. So if you want to do that, click in the link in the description down below. For as little as £3, you become a patron and support the channel, which is always fantastic. You know, there's loads of stuff going on over there, so go and check that out. You can check out our merchandise. We've got new mugs here. Look, I'm going to pop one up here. This is the Boys of the Bowling mug. Cup of tea and all that. I had a cup of tea in my mug earlier. You can check them out on the store, as well as the t-shirts and the jumpers and the hoodies and all of that good stuff. Thank you once again for joining us on this edition of Midweek Musings. It's been an absolute pleasure as usual. One thing left to say, come on you Irons.